Hi everyone, I'm Joe from BookBub,
And I'm Francis.
and today we are so excited to be talking about some of the biggest book club books of the season. Francis is going to throw something in the comments for you guys real quick because we have a lot of fun stuff for you guys today. But while he's doing that, I'll give you a quick idea of what to expect today. We have a huge range of books for you guys. Whatever your book club likes to read, whether it's historical fiction, if you guys like thrillers, if you like young adult, if you like family sagas, we really have something for everyone here.
Yeah, we do.
So really excited to preview some of these books for you guys. And we're also giving books away today. And Francis will talk about that a little bit.
I will talk about that. We are giving 2 books away today. We're really excited. The first one is In Joe's Hand. It is The Proposal. It's a new release. We're very excited about it.
Yes.
The other one is The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which is a heartbreaking historical fiction novel that's coming out. In order to win, all you have to do is share this video and then tag one friend in the video's comments.
Yes. So again, share, tag a friend in the comments, and you guys will be eligible to win free books. And stay tuned because we're going to talk about each of these and why we're so excited about them.
Yeah, we're both going to preview these books. We're really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff today. Okay, so I'll jump into the first one that I'm recommending. And this one is a historical book, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. So I feel like a lot of you guys, I'm interested to see how many of you have read it already, what you think of it. I know I've talked to some readers who have read it and loved it. People are fanatic about this book. Like I don't know if I've heard people talk so excitedly about a book in a really long time, which is always great. The first time I heard about it was a Reese Witherspoon book club book in the summer, I believe, and it's a historical novel set in North Carolina in 1969, I believe, and it's a story of Kaya. And she's basically this young girl who lives in a marsh there. And she is like considered the marsh girl is what they call her. And a lot of people think she's sort of a shadowy figure, a little bit scary. But in reality, we see that she's very thoughtful. She's very inquisitive. She's a survivor, basically. Even though she's alone, she's able to like create a life for herself out there. As she grows up, these 2 men come to town and they sort of fall in love with her and her natural beauty. And she sort of learns about the world through them, which is interesting, but it gets a lot more interesting when one of them dies under suspicious circumstances, and Kaya becomes one of the suspects. So it's sort of this, what I like about it is it's this coming-of-age story, but it's also this murder mystery, so there's also this sort of like suspense element to it.
That is so cool.
There's romance in it, so there's a little bit of everything here. What's also unique about it is the role of nature is huge here.
Cool.
Delia Owens actually wrote wildlife nonfiction before this book, which you can tell as you read it because the marsh is sort of its own character in the book, which is so beautiful and pretty unique as well. So if you have any interest in that, definitely check this one out. It's beautifully written, and it would be a great book club book because there's just so much to unpack in terms of Kaya's story and who she is as a human and how she comes of age here. So definitely check this one out.
I love the idea of that setting. I can definitely see that on our Reese Witherspoon book list.
Yeah, she raved about it. So
that is so exciting.
Yeah.
So my first book is, if you're just joining us again, we're giving away a couple books, and my first book is one of those books. It's a really sad historical fiction. It's called The Tattooist of Auschwitz.
Yeah.
We are giving it away. So it's actually based on a true story. It's based on interviews with Holocaust survivors. A Jewish tattooist in Auschwitz, and by tattooist I mean a prisoner who has to tattoo the infamous letters on fellow prisoners' arms, falls in love with one of those other prisoners and decides in that moment he's going to do everything he can to try and survive and marry her afterwards. It's heartbreaking, really moving. If your book club would like to read a World War II historical fiction book based in the Holocaust, if they were moved by books like The Book Thief, by even The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, this could be a good choice. It was a New York Times bestseller, like right off the press. People are really raving about it. It's a great book. It's The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. For your chance to win, you can just share this video and then tag a friend in the comments of the video.
That sounds like a heavy one, but really good.
Yes, it is definitely heavy.
If you guys like historical fiction, that's definitely one to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, good rec. The next one that I have is A Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult. I feel like I react that way to everyone. So this is one of the this is one of the blockbuster releases of the fall. It's huge. I've talked about it before. I'm really excited about it, clearly. We've written a review as BookBub as well. It's quintessential Jodi Picoult in that she's taking a huge hot-button issue and she's able to bring it on a really human scale. And this is so perfect for book clubs because you're really going to want to talk about it when you finish it. It's like one of those books you feel compelled to talk about. It's about a woman's health clinic that's taken hostage by a gunman. And when the hostage negotiator gets there, he realizes that his 15-year-old daughter named Ren is actually inside, which, as you can imagine, amps up the plot a lot.
Yeah.
So we then see Ren's perspective inside the clinic, and we see all these really complicated situations, like a nurse who risks her life for a patient, a pro-life protester who's actually disguised as a patient. So there's all these really complex situations happening in the hostage environment, but it really presents both sides and both perspectives of the issue, which I think she does a great job of, and it brings it to a really human scale. If you want something that's thought-provoking, that's definitely going to get you guys talking, maybe arguing a little bit. If you like that healthy discussion, this is a good one.
Yeah.
And that's the point of it, really. Picoult said that herself. And it's really a page-turner. So, again, this would be great for a book club, and this is Jodi Picoult's Spark of Light. I would love to hear if you guys have read it and what you think of it.
That's a great rec. I love how her stories kind of inhabit these enormously different characters.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's pretty incredible.
So my next one, slightly different tone, is A Night of Miracles by Elizabeth Berg. This is a really feel-good women's fiction novel. It's by the author of the story of Arthur Truelove. So it continues that story. Lucille Howard, a character, is now an older woman, and she has found a really wonderful place in her community. Baking and sharing her love of cooking and her recipes. It's something that she's locally famous for and people love her for, and she is now giving back and sharing that with everybody. But then disaster, basically a minor tragedy, hits their neighbors, and she starts to help by taking care of their son. And then when the entire town is going through a really rough spot, they realize that it's probably going to take the entire town coming together in order to fix things. So this is a really feel-good book. If your book club is looking for something to feel good about in the holiday season, this is a great choice. Debbie Maycomer, who we all love very much, said it's full of charming characters that tug at the heart.
It sounds very uplifting.
It is. It's uplifting.
In a great way.
Yes. It's a book that I think you'd smile after you finish reading.
It kind of reminds me. It sounds similar to a Frederick Bachman type, within that vein. Man Called Ove.
Yes, Man Called Ove. Yes, exactly.
All right, great rec.
Thank you.
That was really good. Okay, another one that I can't stop talking about, clearly. This is Nine Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty, and this is her latest release. It just hit shelves. If you love Big Little Lies, this is the author. This is the book for you. If you haven't read her, I actually think it would be a good introduction to her as well. She's known for these really juicy storylines, these strong female characters, and these really, really twisty plots. And this one definitely fulfills all of those promises. It's about 9 people who go to this health resort called, I think it's Tranquillium.
Yeah, Tranquillium.
Right? Okay. Yeah. For a few days, and they're all going there for different reasons. One of them is dealing with grief. One person is recently divorced. One person wants to lose weight. They all have their reason for going here. They get there, it starts with a silent retreat. And as we sort of learn more about each person, we learn that each person has a secret, which is what makes it so fun. Yeah. We also learn that the person that's running the retreat might not have the best of intentions, which gets interesting as well. And things just start unraveling from there. I don't want to say that much more. But it's really well plotted. It's really satisfying. The characters are so likable, which I enjoy. And I would say it's a little bit more thrillery than the rest of her books, which I enjoy as well. But it still covers the range of being shocking and also being really funny and very human and very relatable. So our editor called it her best book yet. I'd love to hear if you guys agree, what you think about it. But I do think that this is a great one for book clubs because it has this ensemble cast that you can sort of talk about each character and who you like and who you relate to and whatnot. So that's Liane Moriarty's new book.
Great rec. Definitely let us know in the comments. I'm looking right now. I see Peggy Russo said she just finished The Tattooist of Auschwitz and said it was amazing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know, Peggy. Everyone else, let us know what you think of all these books.
Everyone's excited about that one.
Yeah, I've seen a couple comments about that already. Also, you can use those comments to win yourself the Tattoos of Auschwitz and the proposal. Thank you. I was thinking about that when you were recommending that book. You can comment, tag a friend, and then just share this video, and you will have a chance to win the proposal and the Tattoos of Auschwitz. We've done this in the last few videos, and we've had some very happy winners.
It's been really fun. Yeah,
we've gotten a few pictures from some of the winners of them opening their books and showing their family.
Definitely.
It's really nice. So again, you can win those books. The next book, different. It is Virgil Wander by Leif Enger. I was able to preview this one again before, and I'm very excited to do it again. This is the first novel in a decade by the award-winning author Leif Enger.
Right.
I read his Peace Like a River, which was a literary hit, sold millions, super popular, and I really enjoyed it. So the premise of this book, Virgil Wander is actually the title character, and he is a town clerk. Yeah, cool name. Very, very cool name.
I have a lot to add.
Yeah. Oh, I like the name. He is a town clerk and owns this kind of dilapidated, rundown movie theater in a Midwestern town near Lake Superior that used to be a mining town and now is going through some tough times. And when we start the book, Virgil has just survived this really harrowing and devastating car accident where his memory and his speech is damaged.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so we join him, and he's trying to piece his life back together. And at the same time, there are all these enchanting residents of this town who are trying to revive their town. So it's been called humorous, moving. One thing that I found really interesting was one reviewer said it had elements of magical realism, with magical realism with a Midwestern twist.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty common with Leif Enger. He's really good at incorporating elements of like the mystical in a normal book.
Okay.
Which I think is really cool. Great if your book club likes Richard Russo, if anyone liked Peace Like a River, you can let us know. Or if you just like a portrait of Heartland America with some magical realism.
Nice.
It's a great choice.
And it sounds, or I've heard it's sort of quirky, which I feel like is a fun descriptor if you want something like a little bit offbeat, a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a lot of humor in it, which I really like.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, what do we have next?
Next, I think we're going to do the next giveaway.
The books I'm holding. Okay, so this is our giveaway for the proposal. Again, if you guys share this video and then comment and tag a friend, you'll be eligible to win. This is one that I'm really excited to give away for so many reasons. But it's the second book in a series. Her first book was The Wedding Date, which was her debut novel that everyone loved. This is by Jasmine Guillory. And this is actually about one of the character's best friends, Carlos, who is a doctor. And it starts with a proposal gone wrong, unsurprisingly. And Nicole is at a baseball game with her actor boyfriend of 5 months. And he proposes on the scoreboard.
Great timing.
Yes,
right.
Yeah. And he also has a man bun, which is a fun detail.
No opinion on that.
She says no, unsurprisingly. But as you can imagine, everyone in the stands is disappointed. And she sort of gets a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
And in that moment, Carlos actually helps her get out and away from all the cameras and all the attention and whatnot.
Okay.
And after that, this video goes viral. And as the video goes viral and she sort of like has all this horrible attention, they grow closer, he helps her through it, and they decide to start a relationship, and neither of them really wants to fall in love and wants to sort of like keep it as a rebound thing. And we get to see them sort of just decide what they want the relationship to be and if it's going to be serious or whatnot. It's good because they actually deal with a lot of real life issues. I feel like this is the type of book that you read and you're like, oh, it actually seems extremely realistic, which is why I think it's good for book clubs, because there's a lot you can respond to in terms of, oh, I related with that character for this reason, or I would have done this differently for this reason. It's sort of like very easy to relate to your own life. It's also very charming and just very funny. There's a lot of good female friendships in this. And even though it's a fun book, it has this really strong feminist edge as well, which I think helps in terms of there's a lot to discuss there too. So again, really excited about this one. It's sort of a romance. So if you guys would like to win, share this video. Yeah, I've heard that's just a great look and reflection on modern love. Right? Which is really fun. Yeah, it's like a true contemporary romance. Yeah, romance in the time of, in like a viral time. Yes. Which is very cool. Awesome. Yeah, so the next book is an absolutely remarkable thing by Hank Green. This is a really fun debut novel. Here's the premise. I want to let the plot speak for itself, just the premise, of course. 23-year-old April
is exploring New York City late one night. It's like 2 a.m. with a good friend of hers. And she enters this like square somewhere in New York City and sees this statue, this giant statue that kind of looks like a robot of some sort. And they find it like so interesting and entertaining that they take a video with it and upload it to YouTube. And the next day it has gone completely viral, like worldwide viral.
Okay.
Because a bunch of these statues had suddenly appeared overnight in major cities around the world.
Oh, weird.
Yes. So this is like popular fiction with like a tinge of sci-fi and YA.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really fun choice for a book club right now. It was an immediate New York Times bestseller. People are raving about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun, especially if your book club is looking for something fun, looking for something with a touch of young adult. I think this would be a great choice.
I've seen a lot of other authors recommending this one too, which I feel like is always a good sign.
Yes, I agree completely. It has a very fun cover.
Yeah, and that one's a little bit different too. So
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Okay, the next one that I'm talking about is Family Trust by Kathy Wang. One review called this a mix between Crazy Rich Asians and The Nest, which are two books that I really enjoyed. So that was all I needed to hear. But you probably want to hear more. It's the story of a Chinese American family, and the father's name is Stanley, and he's sort of the self-made man, and he owns all-inclusive resorts. And for his entire life, he's been talking about the fact that he is worth a small fortune, essentially. Yeah. Then he finds out, very sadly, that he has terminal cancer, and he sort of starts to get his life in order in understanding that he is his impending death, essentially. So we get to see this from the perspective of his two kids, his wife, and his ex-wife. And we get to see that each of them, their lives are sort of imploding in their own ways. And as horrible as it sounds, they're sort of viewing their inheritance as this like out, something that's going to help them. But it gets really interesting when they begin to suspect that he's actually not worth quite as much as he said he was worth. So you can imagine so many funny but also dark family dynamics here and how money complicates it. It is told through different perspectives and 4 different perspectives, and they each sort of end on these cliffhangers, which keeps the pacing really quick, which I really enjoyed. And I just always think that books with strong family dynamics are great book club choices because they're just relatable. Everyone can talk about those. Yeah. So this is one that I would definitely pick up if that sounds intriguing to you. Again, that's Kathy Wang's Family Trust. That's
such a fun rec. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and it's sad, but it's also really funny, which I feel like is a nice and rare tone to be able to strike.
Yes, that is a really impressive tone. I really like that.
Yeah.
Like Crazy Rich Asians as well.
Yeah.
Like mixed emotions and good biting humor. That's really fun. So the next one, another one that I've gotten the pleasure of previewing before, it is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Very exciting author who a lot of people I think really enjoy.
Yes.
So it's a historical mystery from this best-selling author, and it bridges past and present. So the plot begins in 1862 when a group of young artists go to the mysterious Birchwood Manor. It's said to be haunted. And suddenly a woman dies, one of the group, and an heirloom disappears. Not at the same time, but the plot also begins in 2017, a century and a half later, when a young archivist in London discovers an old photograph and a journal. And so the mystery starts to unravel in these two different but parallel time frames. It's a really exciting historical mystery. I love how there are these two different plots from different time periods.
Right.
I think it's really fun. It gives a lot to talk about.
And it also keeps things fresh because if you enjoy one more than the other, it's always sort of coming back.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. If you're more interested in the Birchwood Manor in the 1860s, there's always that.
Carlo said, I love Kate Morton. I so want to read this.
Oh, Carla, you should check it out. People are loving it so far.
Jen saying, I'm trying to get that at my local library. I think she's talking about
check
this
it out.
book. Yeah,
check it, whichever book it is.
Oh, and then Sonia's reading Clockmaker's Daughter
right
now. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, definitely comment and let us know what you think.
I feel like a lot of people have enjoyed it, but I want to see if you guys do too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let us know. Okay, the next one that I have is Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusick. So this is the author of the Book Thief. He took, it's been I think like over a decade since the Book Thief, like maybe 12, 13 years. And he worked on this apparently for 9 years, which is just so telling as to, it's a really complex novel, and I think it speaks to how complex it is and how much thought he put into it. It's a family saga. It's about these 5 brothers who have this sort of tragedy happen in terms of their upbringing, and they sort of have to help raise each other. One of the brothers' names is Matthew, and he's the narrator. And a lot of the story focuses on one of the brothers named Clay, who they say talks the least but feels the most, is how they describe him. And basically we see Clay deal with his grief and deal with growing up by building both a literal and metaphorical bridge. Okay. Hence the name.
Bridge Clay, yes.
At the same time as we're seeing that story, Matthew's also weaving that story. I just forgot the past tense of interweave for a second. That story with the story of their mother and her journey to America from Europe. So again, it has like these different storylines. What's interesting and fascinating and sometimes difficult with this book is that it's not told in chronological order. Some people describe it as being told, they said it's like a family quilt, which I thought was actually a really beautiful way of describing it.
Is really pretty.
Right?
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it in a more articulate way than that. That's what makes it mesmerizing, but to be honest, you also need to spend a little time in it to get used to it. So if you feel like it's going a little slow at first, stick with it. It'll pay off. Jodi Picoult has said it's totally blown her away. It's really good for book clubs because there's so much emotional complexity in this one. It really touches on like every single human emotion. And the ending will leave you wanting to talk to someone about it. So I'll just leave it at that. But Bridge of Clay, let us know if you've read it. It's a really exciting release.
So excited. I remember Jodi Picoult, I believe, said something along the lines of like, I wish I could write this beautifully, as Marcus Zuzak referring to that book, which from Jodi Picoult, that's a really big compliment.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, if you appreciate that kind of writing.
If you don't trust us.
Yeah, if you don't trust us, Jodi Picoult, please. So the next book is The Little Shop of Found Things. Beautiful cover. It's by Paula Braxton. This is a blend of mystery, of historical fiction, of time travel, of romance. The premise is that Xanth and her mother Flora leave behind bustling London to run an antique shop in the historic town of Marlborough.
That's like all I need to hear.
Yeah, I'm already there. We're already there. We're trying to make that happen. Yeah. But the antique shop seems to be haunted.
Oh.
It's a mystery, and the antiques themselves seem to have some magical properties.
Oh, that's cool.
It's when Xanth is examining a silver chatelaine that she is suddenly transported to the 17th century, and everything obviously changes. So as soon as she's there, she's charged by a spirit to save a young girl's life. In the 17th century, she's completely lost. She's stuck in this time, and what she'll find is, one, the difficulty of unraveling and solving this mystery, but two, she finds romance with a young architect from the time, and suddenly the 17th century seems a lot more appealing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me on a very superficial level of Outlander.
Yes.
Going back in time, falling in love.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by that. That's fun.
Yeah, it checks so many boxes. It's historical fiction, romance, mystery.
It has some magic to it.
It's got magic to it. It's a really fun book. Yeah,
that
check it out.
That sounds really good. We're getting lots of nice comments. Elizabeth Silver said she's read Clockmaker's Daughter, and it was like unraveling a puzzle. That's a good way to put it.
Love that. Yeah, it's so fun.
She said she loves that cover. And then, Burma said I have Bridge of Clay. We'll be reading it soon. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
And real quick, if you're just joining us, again, if you want a chance to win the Tattooist of Auschwitz and the proposal to very, very exciting new books, simply comment and tag one of your friends and then share the video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on to another book club book. So this one is The Witch Elm by Tana French, which I've spoken about a few times. And I picked this one for book club because I think it's a particularly good thriller for a book club, and I'll say why. But basically, if you don't know Tana French, she's the author of the very popular Dublin Murder Squad series. Yeah. This is actually her first book separate of that, which is noteworthy. It's part thriller, part mystery, part family drama, and it's about a guy named Toby who basically has this really idyllic life. He loves his job. He goes out to celebrate with his friends one night about a work success, goes back to his apartment and gets brutally beaten up by these 2 burglars. Goes to his uncle's house. Yeah. Tough start. Goes to his uncle's house to recover. His uncle's actually terminally ill and sort of like lives in the country. When he gets there, he uncovers a skull at the base of a tree. And basically this simple finding begins unraveling all of these huge family secrets, and Toby begins to understand that there's a lot he doesn't know about his family, and there's actually a lot he doesn't know about himself. And there's definitely this unreliable narrator trope. The reason I think it's so good for book clubs is because besides being a very suspenseful book, it's actually a great character study too. Not just of Toby, but of the entire surrounding cast. And it's a really interesting portrait of an exploration of privilege and of perspective and how that sort of like colors the situation. So if your book club likes suspense, but you want something that also has not just maybe an awesome plot, but also has this like character development and this interesting character study, this is a really good choice. So again, this is The Witch Elm by Tana French. I think in the last video, a decent amount of people had said they'd read it. So I'd love to hear what you guys think, or if you plan on reading this one.
That's exciting. That's a great rec.
Yeah.
My next one is by an author I'm sure you've heard about, probably Stephen King. This is Elevation. I don't know, honestly. Stephen King, this is Elevation. First thing that needs to be said about this is that this is not a normal Stephen King novel. So one, it's not at all horror. Two, it's 160 pages. I made this joke last time. It's like 5,000 pages less than a normal Stephen King book. Yeah. It's so take the premise is very exciting. It's set in Castle Rock, which is Stephen King's signature town, and Scott Carey, a resident of this town, is suffering from a strange affliction. And at the same time as he's suffering from this strange, almost mystical affliction, he and a number of his other Castle Rock residents are in conflict with Scott's new neighbors, a lesbian couple, and they are suddenly forced to kind of face the prejudices that they hold.
Okay.
And at the same time, they're trying to unravel this mystery, what's going on. This has been called like inspiring and uplifting. So if you're new to Stephen King, or if your book club likes Stephen King but wants something kind of different, this is a great option. It's also worth mentioning it's a quick read. It is pretty short.
Which you get busy during the holidays probably.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to pick something up that you can get through in a day.
Yeah, this is it. I even heard one reviewer casually compare it to It's a Wonderful Life. Just in tone,
wild.
Which is wild. That's my favorite movie, so that's a big compliment.
Yeah.
But in tone, in the way it makes you feel, which I really appreciate. And there's nothing better than that at this time of the year.
I'm also intrigued. It's just fascinating to think of Stephen King writing in that tone. So
yes, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm excited to read that one.
Again, that's Elevation by Stephen King.
Awesome. That's a great book. Okay, next one, different tone here. Winter in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand. Really got to show off this cover because it's so beautiful.
So perfect for right now.
This is, as it's like dark and freezing. This is the first book in a new series by Hildebrand, and it's actually one of her first books that doesn't take place in Nantucket, which you might be like, oh, no, I don't want to leave that setting, but the setting here is beautiful, and it lives up to her sort of like having these really lush, beautiful descriptions that you want to travel to these places. So it is about Irene, who has this sort of idyllic life until her husband unexpectedly dies in a helicopter crash. But what's most shocking is that he was actually in St. John's when it happened, which she has no idea why. And then she goes there to investigate.
St. John's Island.
Yeah,
okay.
In the Caribbean,
Okay.
Yes. And she learns that he had a second family there. Yes. Jaw drop. So she goes there with her two sons. She begins to unravel all of these huge family secrets. It's also interesting because she's unraveling these family secrets while she's in this like gorgeous, idyllic setting that you just want to transport to. It has this really nice mix of being heartbreaking, but also intriguing, having romance elements, having fun family elements with her and her sons, and sort of promises on everything that you love about Hildebrand, really relatable characters, and again, this really idyllic setting. So if your book club is like maybe somewhere in the cold weather and you really want to escape, like us in Boston, I feel like this is a nice choice because it sort of transports you at least mentally.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. Real quick, we see a ton of people commenting, one mentioning Tana French. We want to mention again that if you comment and tag a friend and then share this video, you have a chance to win both The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory and The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris, two really exciting, very different, but very exciting books.
I'm looking at Sonia's comment right now that's saying, I read Winter in Paradise and I loved The setting of this one, can't
Yeah.
wait to read the second and third in the trilogy. I know. I feel like you read this one and
We're
you
with
just
you,
want
Sonia.
the next ones quickly.
Yeah, we're with you, Sonia. Big time.
Thanks for your comments.
Yeah. So the next book is The Rain Watcher by Tatiana du Rosnay. This is by the author of Sarah's Key, a very popular, beautifully written book. I think it was like 4 years ago, and this is her first novel since then. So it's the first novel in a while from her, by Rosnay. So the story is that Lyndon Malagard, just the premise, is a celebrated photographer who's returning home to Paris for her father's 70th birthday weekend.
Okay.
And the whole family's coming back, but the family has really strained relationships.
Okay.
So they're really trying to smile through it and bring the family together for the sake of the father. But when they're there, the Seine floods. There is a flood. It starts with a rainstorm, and then it turns into pretty much a natural disaster, and the family is pushed to their limits. So if your book club likes, if they like family dramas, long kept secrets, dramas around that, which I think is always really exciting, which we all do, yeah, whether we like it or not.
You don't like to admit it.
Yeah, but really exciting. The Rain Watcher would be a great choice for you guys.
Also, the setting for me is really
so nice.
too. Yeah.
Rainy Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You recently in Paris?
Yes.
Yes.
And it was raining.
Of course.
Okay, so the next one that I have is Marilla of Green Gables by Sarah McCoy. So this is for all you guys who are Anne of Green Gables fans, which I feel like is a ton of you. And actually, if you aren't a fan and haven't read it, this could also be of interest, honestly. It's set in Prince Edward Isle in the 19th century. And it's a story of Marilla, who is a woman who, as you guys know, adopt Anne sort of begrudgingly, but then they have this nice relationship. And we basically get to see her coming of age story, which is fun because if you're a fan of this franchise, it's fun to sort of imagine the story before it.
Yeah.
So she's 13 when we meet her, and her mother actually dies, unfortunately, and she has to take on all this responsibility at the farm, and really a lot for a 13-year-old to deal with. And she has really limited opportunity there. Through her aunt, she then realizes that there's like this whole wider world, and she becomes involved with this orphanage in Nova Scotia and begins helping them out. She enters into this romance with one of her neighbors. She actually becomes involved in this really dangerous abolition work as well. So basically her entire world changes, but then enters this tension of staying in her small town and sort of like participating in this wider world. Fans have said that it seems like a prequel that Montgomery herself would write, which I feel like is the biggest compliment you could give. Yeah. And I feel like you'll like it for the same reasons that you would like Anne of Green Gables. It's heartwarming, it's really enchanting, it's in this beautiful, lush location as well. And I feel like it's a fun one. If you guys do like Anne of Green Gables, it's fun to read something like this, and then there's so many adaptations out, or there's older adaptations, which I know you guys love, that you could then watch together afterwards, which is kind of a fun experience to do as a book club. So again, this is Marilla of Green Gables.
Great recommendation. Very fun. Again, one last time, if you're joining us, comment and tag a friend, and then share this video, and you have a chance to win 2 books from us. One is The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and the other is The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. Yeah. Really exciting books.
Yes.
Yeah. My last book is actually one that I'm almost through with. I started a couple days ago, and I've been flying through it. It's called My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. Very exciting book. I love the premise. I like to let it speak for itself. So Coretti is a top nurse in a hospital in Lagos, Nigeria, which is the setting.
Okay.
And she has a close relationship with her sister, Ayula. And one thing, Coretti has a very quiet love life, which she would not like. And Ayula has a very active love life. However, Ayula has this really bad habit of murdering her boyfriends. Yeah.
It's a bad habit.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate habit for everybody. And Coretti
especially her boyfriends.
Yeah, especially her boyfriends. I'd say they're number one in the list. Coretti is very involved. So this is actually, it's as dark as it is, it's actually like a pretty funny, very witty crime fiction novel. And it transcends just crime fiction. It's very much about the relationship between sisters. I actually saw a cool interview right when I started the book by the author, where she talked about how it reflects on class in Lagos.
Okay.
And I really found that to be true.
Okay.
This is all great discussion material for a book club. Another thing, the film rights have already been sold.
Oh, nice.
This is a very new release, and it's already going to be made into a movie.
Very cool. Okay.
Which is just a good sign that it's a great story.
And gives me some motivation to read it on the sooner
Yes.
end too.
Read it on the sooner end. It's not another one, not a long book. You can see where I am. Little bookmark. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great one to end
Yeah.
on. Okay, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really enjoyed talking about all these book club books. And again, share the video and tag a friend in the comments for a chance to win for our giveaway. And share with your book club for new recs.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Let us know what you think of these books. We're so excited about them. We hope you are too.
Yes, and we'll be back next week.
Thank you.
More details to come. Bye, everyone.
Bye.